Hello all. Well, it's time for an oil update. It looks like because of the problems with China, they can't seem to get their GDP together because people around the world don't have the money to spend on the Chinese cheap goods that flood the retail market. It's interesting because there are 7.3 billion people. We're all trying to make a living, so we're flooding both the oil markets and the retail markets full of stuff, and there's not enough people to purchase all this stuff. So the oil markets and the stock market are plunging this morning. Overnight here they went down over 1,000 points. That's incredible. So I guess the big meltdown that has been predicted on so many of the blogs here on the internet are coming true, and the big crash is happening. Let's go look at some details. So Iran's oil minister has said OPEC should and probably will hold an emergency meeting to discuss how to stabilize the oil prices. The U.S. sweet crude prices fell below $40 a barrel. Now remember that just a few months ago, OPEC, the U.S., Russia, they were all playing this game to try and outproduce each other. We all said it was crazy because the outcome is obvious, but to the leaders of these countries, the outcome is something else than reality. And then when reality hits, they have to have an emergency meeting to discuss how far down they're going to cut their crude output. This ought to be interesting, huh? It's time to go look at a year's worth Brent crude oil prices, which is the oil that most of us use around the world. So this is starts in around September of 2014. We were up at about $105 a barrel. But by November of 14, it was all the way down to 80. And then it crashed way down to almost 50 by June of 2015. But then there was a little bit of a uptick. By March, it was back up to in the 60s. Of course, by May, it was by 70s. July, then it started to fall down just below 70s. And then by August of this year, we're almost into the 40s. At present, 43 and going down fast. So we have to keep going back to what are the conditions of peak oil. Up and down, up and down. You get a supply glut, then you get a supply starvation. Prices go up and back and forth, but each time it goes down, the supply will keep going down further and further, and these ups and downs will start to smooth out to just a complete crash. So it looks like peak oil is working just exactly as predicted. However, the size of the top of the peak we're still on doesn't seem to have an end yet. That's really good news for us, I'll tell you. It gives us more time to switch over to non-fossil fuels and something renewable and consistent, so that humans can control their population a little bit better and we can just sail on forever. Mushia, are you paying attention? The economy is crashing. Before we go any further, let's go out and see how many barges are in San Francisco Bay. This helps us determine what the supply is going on. And there were a lot of barges in San Francisco Bay, which means that the U.S. has a lot of supply. So it looks like there's about 12 oil barges in San Francisco Bay. Well, the oil industry is really tough on the poor planet. And another study has come out, and they have reported on why we're seeing so many dead whales around the planet. Let's go over to the board. So what this organization is saying, stop using air guns, which make a huge explosion in the ocean. Then these seismic waves go down to the bottom of the ocean, they come back and they can tell what's underneath the ocean floor in the way of exploring for oil. But this practice is absolutely detrimental to whales, especially in the Arctic, and animal and migration habits and eating habits, and whales especially are turning up on the shores dead, but most of them end up sinking or just floating until they're all eaten away out in the ocean. So we really don't know how many whales we're killing by this horrible practice. It's so interesting that the people just don't get it. They don't consider the planet when they make their plans. It's just what the outcome is important, but what the side effects are completely ignored or covered over. And people don't understand how important the ocean is. Remember, humans are what, 93 or 96% ocean water? We basically are the living ocean. We're just water with a little bit of carbon and other elements like calcium for our bones, but really we're just bags of water. And yet we treat our own selves, which is the ocean, like crap. So here we go again. Let's see if we can spread the video around and let people know that this is going on, and maybe enough people complain and something will be done about that. So I appreciate all your comments and your new subscribers and your ups and your downs and your participation on this video. And we have some more items that you can buy having to do with whales this time, which will support this video. Down in the description area you can find the link. Until next time.